Well, here's one video that I wasn't expecting to record tonight. David Price versus Tyson Fury. Could this British matchup finally happen in Tyson Fury's comeback fight? Yeah, a lot of hardcore British boxing fans will remember that some time ago now, way before the rise of Anthony Joshua, this fight was one of the most anticipated fights in the heavyweight boxing division domestically, but it's one that never really came to fruition because David Price obviously started to suffer defeats in his career. At the time, it was at the hands of Tony Thompson, and Tyson Fury went up to world title level. David Price kind of went the other way, and the fight sort of disappeared. But at the time, when this fight was first being talked about, David Price was a hefty favourite, believe it or not. And I remember getting a hell of a lot of stick for making comments that I thought Tyson Fury would win the fight if it was ever made. Anyway, as you guys know, Tyson Fury's on the comeback trail. It's anticipated he'll be returning in 2018. We've seen this happen a few times, but there seems to be rumblings that the British Boxing Board of Control will give him a licence back. There seems to be rumblings that the UCAD hearing situation, which is extremely extended and bizarre, may finally go away. And Fury's back in the gym. Understand he's in the Ricky Hatton gym at present. Understand he's started to lose some of the tremendous amount of weight he needs to lose. And he did a sort of video on his media this week where he was hitting the pads, and Fury, despite having a belly the size of a fully grown man, still retains some talent. It's clear to see on the pads the way he throws punches, the movement. Despite being hideously overweight, Fury remains a talent, and Fury remains someone who's able to look very skilled. Now, obviously, the clip was 1 minute long. Obviously, the pads don't hit back. I'm not suggesting that means Tyson Fury is necessarily going to be the same fighter in an actual top-class fight. But nevertheless, at least we can see that Fury appears to have something left to offer. Now, in terms of comeback opponents, we anticipate Fury will come back at a lower level. We don't anticipate Tyson Fury is going to, want to pitch in straight away against the likes of Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. Having said that, we also don't expect to see Fury coming in against top 200 journeyman straight away. He's fought at a level that, he's going to need something of a test in order to give him rounds and, to test his well-being. A lot of the recent rumblings have been that a potential comeback opponent could be Shannon the Cannon Briggs, who's looking for one big payday before sailing off to the sunset. He's been calling out Tyson Fury, calling him a beached whale, and saying that he was going to beat the brakes of him. Fury seemed to be entertaining that matchup. Now, earlier today, Fury released a poll on Twitter. This is about 10 AM this morning. Who should be my next victim? The Char versus Ustinov winner, Alexander Povetkin, Shannon Briggs, or David Price? Now, quite fascinatingly, Shannon Briggs leads the poll with 40% of the vote. David Price in a very close second on 38%. As a point of interest, only 17% wanting to see the Povetkin fight, only 5% wanting to see the Char Ustinov fight. And that's across 33,000 live votes, which does represent a decent sample size. Now, the boxing hardcore are obviously going to think Alexander Povetkin is the toughest fight there, but this kind of poll shows you that the boxing hardcore maybe do not represent anything like the majority or anything like the most significant proportion of the heavyweight boxing fan base. Shannon Briggs and David Price, between them, 78%. Price is known for being an Olympian, for being knocked out several times, for being a UK fighter. That's kind of his name. Briggs is known for the Let's Go champ, ramblings and ravings that he has, calling out David Haye, calling out Vladimir Klitschko. So these two guys, neither of whom you'd class as top 50 heavyweights currently, both of them absolutely leading the charts ahead of names like Alexander Povetkin, and that kind of shows what the average fans who tune into this fight actually wants. Now, entertainingly, Tyson Fury then tweeted out, "Who would you like to see me versus? My oldest rival, David Price, the big stiff plumber?" And David Price tweeted back, "Tyson, I'm the last and only Englishman to beat you. I know deep down you still want revenge. Now, if you don't mind, I'm fitting an ensuite. So, David Price there referring to the now famous matchup in the amateurs where he beat Tyson Fury when Fury was very, very young, and also making a bit of a joke as to you know, the fact that Tyson Fury has historically called him out and said that he was a plumber, big stiff plumber from Liverpool, if I remember, if I've got the quote correct. You know, it seems that the two have some sort of friendship, and perhaps you could kind of class this as a bit of friendly back and forth rather than actually, you know, gearing up for a fight. But then Tyson Fury comes back and said, would love to put it right if I could. Like I said in the past, they will need 10 plumbers to fix you when I'm done with you. And Tyson Fury did go out and tweet further that David Price is actually the only man in his amateur and pro career who Fury believes genuinely has a win over him. Now, David Price has recently replied saying, let's do it. Easy, in inverted commas, easy one back for you, massive opportunity, anything could happen. You know, so David Price is showing a willingness to get it on with Tyson Fury. You know, from David Price's perspective, it actually is a sensible fight as far as I'm concerned, and I'll tell you why. Price is making a comeback under the radar on a small hall show in Essex, but the truth is, David Price has shown time and time again, you know, that he is a risky commodity, even at sort of top 30, top 40 level. So if David Price is looking to construct a way back to the top, you kind of know he can't really do top 50, top 40, top 30, top 20, top 10 world championship, because you know at some stage he's going to get found out. Now, what David Price should do, if he can, is take a fight like this. You know, and he might catch Tyson Fury on a bad day. He might catch Tyson Fury who has lost the weight, but whose body is still suffering some of the after effects of, you know, being so heavy and living such a poor lifestyle for so many years. David Price still has that punching power. You know, he still has that ability to put any man out on any given day if, you know, things fall right for him. So from David Price's perspective, this for me makes perfect sense. You know, come back under the radar, low-key, small hall show, prove your well-being, get a little bit of confidence up, and then go straight back into a big fight. There's no point taking a fringe level fight which, you know, is 50-50. Go straight in, you're not getting any younger, try and get a big payday and give yourself the opportunity to, you know, become a star on everyone's lips again. You know, if David Price defeats Tyson Fury, he'd be in a prime position to get the Joshua and Wilder fights. And as he rightly points out, it is a easy fight for Tyson Fury. You know, if Tyson Fury is at his best, if he's anything like the man who beat Vladimir Klitschko, you'd think he takes David Price to school. But there's a lot of intangibles with Tyson Fury right now. By the time he comes back, how long will he be out of the ring for? You know, will his reactions be the same? Will his speed be the same? You know, what damage will that inactivity have on his body? And not just inactivity, but, you know, putting on all that weight, drinking all that beer, enjoying all of those nights out. You know, what toll will that take on Tyson Fury's body, on his well-being and on his boxing when he's actually back in the ring? Now, David Price is right to call him out early, because if David Price can get him on his comeback trail straight away, you know, it's a sensible move, because after he's had 2 or 3 warm-ups, Tyson will be more likely to be back to his normal self than he will be in his first fight, where the ring rust is more likely to show. So, yeah, I think it's a sensible fight for David Price to be calling out. From a Tyson Fury perspective, it is a fight that you'd anticipate him to win, but Price is always, you know, a bit of a threat. No matter how beatable Price is, he always carries some danger because of his size and because of his power. I guess from Fury's perspective, he's going to want to be making waves straight away, headlining bills straight away, making money straight away. If he fought, let's say David Price is ranked 50th in the world. Let's say Tyson Fury took on another fighter at a similar level. Let's say Manuel Charr. You know, you wouldn't say Manuel Charr and David Price are worlds apart in terms of where they're ranked. If Tyson Fury fought Manuel Charr, now that's a fight that's been talked about in the past. You know, that would be a fight that would really struggle to capture the casual public's imagination. You know, it's not, Charr isn't a known puncher, he isn't a known commodity, he isn't a known talker. You know, it would fall under the radar. I think the fact that Price and Fury have that history, I think the fact that Price is a domestic name known because of his Olympic background and in many ways his high profile losses, and I think it would be easy to promote it, having seen the beef between the two historically, and the fact that, you know, David Price does hold this win over Fury in the amateurs, and this is Price's last chance at redemption. You know, this is not the stupidest fight of all time. Don't be completely amazed if it did happen. You know, Tyson Fury and Price do seem to have this half banterous, half serious friendship / willingness to fight. Now, Fury has the same thing with Chisora. He's actually quite good mates with Chisora. And look, he's rematched Derek Chisora, and he's even talked about giving him a third fight. So maybe Fury's way of looking after his mates is fighting them and securing them good paydays. I don't know. I'm speculating now. But anyway, I wanted to cover this. I'd had 3 or 4 messages asking me, what did I make about Fury's comeback? What did I think of Tyson Fury on the pads? And I thought this Twitter exchange today and the potential of a Price-Fury fight, however far away it is, would be a catalyst to make this video. Yeah, all in all, I haven't given Fury's comeback too much coverage. I kind of wanted to see him lose a bit more weight, him get his license back, maybe even him to you know, announce a return date before I get properly excited for it. Because as you guys know, I'm a big Fury fan who's kind of felt let down 2 or 3 times by Fury's lack of discipline, and, you know, the false alarms with regard to him retiring and coming back and retiring and coming back. So for me, there's still a case of I'll believe it when I see it. But he's back in the gym, he's looking okay on the pads, by all accounts he's losing a bit of weight, and yeah, David Price to return in December. Let's see how he looks. Presumably it will be against a dreadful standard of opponent, and Pricey will get a big knockout as per usual. But let's see. Let's see if this fight gets made. If it doesn't get made, let's see how Tyson Fury versus Shannon Briggs gets on, or one of the other names he's mentioned. Give me your thoughts, people. What's your thoughts on this story? Is it realistic? Is it still a million miles away off? I'm thinking it could be April, May next year. But let's see. Leave your comments in the section below. If you enjoyed this coverage, hit the thumbs up button. That helps get me a bit more visibility to the channel. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Give me a follow on Twitter at Boxing Gossip. And as always, appreciate you guys tuning in.